Hello, everyone. I'm going to do a demonstration tonight. And so what I'm going to show is how we are able to basically brick YouTube Shorts, meaning that let's say you have a family and the family or your friends or your kids, you don't mind that they watch long form content on YouTube. Maybe there's some programming channels that you like. Maybe there's some other entertainment in there that's been approved for you with your parental controls and whatnot, but you really don't like YouTube Shorts. In my case, I really don't like YouTube Shorts. I think that it contributes to an attention deficit problem. And I just, since there's no option to disable it, I ended up just figuring out a way to break that aspect of YouTube. So how do you do that? Well, first, let me show you what it kind of looks like, right? So let me show you here. I'm going to go to YouTube. And as you can see, it says something went wrong. If I
Does
start
this
a
scene
video, it'll automatically stop. It will only be
the
able to
question
go
everybody wants to know?
for about a second or two, and then it's just dead.
So, pal,
So it just can't resolve. Now, I can still watch regular content, right? So like what happens here?
We are seriously witnessing the
These
craziest
videos
Silicon
actually
Valley
do
soap
play
opera we've ever
consistently.
seen.
So
This OpenAI
that's
saga
pretty
is
cool.
just blowing.
So how do we do that? Well, we need to do a few different things here. So I'm gonna go try and go from the beginning as much as I can. So let's start by just you need to get these two different apps here in the App Store, Cloudflare 1 and 11111. And so I can show you in real time. We'll just go ahead and remove all of these here. Okay, and review. And then we also need to get rid of the certificate that we downloaded. The certificate is important because it's what enables us to decrypt some of the certificates. Let me untrust that. And let me go back to VPN. There's this tier profile. Okay. And with this part done, we now no longer have the app and we no longer have the cert. So now we'll just do it from scratch. Now keep in mind, this is on the endpoint. This is after you've actually set up your dashboard and done your firewall rules, which I have an article on that. But for now, I'll just to show you on this endpoint aspect. So let's go ahead and come here. So you can just type Cloudflare. Warp is the name of the client that we want to get. So we want to get the 1111, not to be confused with Google's 8888. And we want to get this Cloudflare 1 agent as well. So we'll go ahead and download both of these. Cool, they're both downloaded. Now, you can see they're over here. You only really need to log into Cloudflare 1. It'll just take care of almost everything. So give that a second to load up. This just tells you, what does it do? It can, just so you know, it's zero trust is just, the latest buzz basically. Let's accept the YOLO agreement. I have a team here already. This is going to be the way you organize all of the devices, all of the users, all of the firewall policies. So there's mine. I need to sign in now. I don't want notifications, and I'm on. I recently signed in, so I still have probably a cookie or cache in my browser, but essentially it'll send you a one-time code to your email address, and then you just enter that in there. I have a SSL certificate area. Pay no attention to that. We're going to go ahead and get that right now. So in my browser here, here we go, Safari. I'm going to go ahead and get the PEM. The PEM is going to be the certificate. It's the second link here that we want to get. I'm going to allow the configuration. This is an iPhone. The profile has been downloaded. We need to go to settings and it'll be right underneath our profile in iCloud. So let me come back over here. Chappelle. You can see it says profile downloaded right there. And the other way so you can see it, we want to install. Go ahead and enter in your authorization to install. This is an unmanaged root certificate, so we can do some decryption. So go ahead and install it. Now the profile is good. Now that's not the only thing you got to do with it. Once you actually install it, you still need to come back and authorize it. So go to your profile underneath the About here at the top and scroll down to the bottom. Go to your certificate trust settings and you need to turn it on. This will allow it to be effective. And now you're on. And at this point, let that back up. At this point now, we can go ahead and go back to YouTube and let it load. Go to Shorts.
This is the most remote ghost town in the United States.
And
I may have the longest. This is the most
give me
remote
one
ghost.
second. It's gonna have to re-download the policy. Oh, it probably did. But we also need to, of course, enable it. So now check connectivity. The certificate is good. And now it's downloading the policy from our gateway. And if we go back to YouTube now and try it again, something went wrong. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Plays for a second and then it ends. Plays for a second
Definitely.
and then it ends. Let's double check long form.
So you wanted to jazz up your
And
network by adding these things called
keeps on adding. Now that you saw it on that aspect, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Okay, so what's going on here? All right, good morning. So you can see this is my user, 1 of 50. Free license gives you up to 50 users, so you can get some of your friends and family and you should be good to go. You can see all the DNS queries that happen a lot from Google, from all the Google ads and everything else. And when you log in here, it'll, there's some quick start guides here. If you click it, it'll kind of teach you, what to do, how to get the agent and some tips and tricks and things like that. But in our case, there's a few things that we want to do. Go ahead and go to your network here, just to make sure it's this third option here under settings. And when you do, turn on your logging and you want to capture all. That's important because it's going to allow you to see what's going through and what isn't going through. And so that way you can kind of fine tune whatever firewall rules you have besides, blocking YouTube essentially. And then I always like to do UDP because that's that protocol was used a lot back in the day, but it's being used more now for some other things. And then enable the proxy too. And then turn on TLS decryption. That's the certificate that we just added into the client so that we can actually see some of the metadata that's associated with the website itself, some of the properties, which is important for YouTube. You can go back here and check your authentication if you want. I don't really mess with any of this, but Warp client here, you don't really need to mess with your profile too much here. This is all pretty good right out of the box. I turned on the certificate authority to the system certificate store. This also is important for the decryption. And then downloads, if you need it, you have different clients here. So you can find it in the App Store. You don't really need to worry about it, but you can get other versions if you want to put it on other systems. Now, let's look at some of the firewall rules here under the gateway. So you can do standard DNS firewall policies if you want, where you can blacklist an entire IP or website if you want. You also have network policies you can use, and then you have these web HTTP policies. This is going to be the bread and butter for what I'm using and what you might want to also if you want to block YouTube Shorts. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like, I just called it block YouTube Shorts. It's a URL query that matches a regex. And then this is the value that I'm using. This C tier and SH is for shorts. This took some trial and error to figure out. I might get back to that in a second, but let me just show you some of these options here. If you wanted, you have URL, URL path inquiry, and URL query. Each of these are good. URL can block a specific website. So if you were on Reddit, you would be able to block Reddit/r/gaming, very specific. URL path means you could block just /r/gaming if you want, or /r and everything underneath /r, so all the subreddits. URL path and query would be like if you want to block the top 20 under a Reddit, for example, and then URL query, which is pretty flexible. And then the operators here are, does it match? Does it not match? Is it, if you're doing a URL, or let's see, the URL here for a website, you could say, is it whatever the specific website? Is it not that specific website? Is it in? And then you could have a string or not in a string. And then finally your value. And then you get to choose the action that you want. In this case, you want to block. I want to block when it's decrypting the certificate and it's looking at the response from the website. Whenever it sees CTIR equals SH, it will end up blocking it. So how does that look when we're looking at it in the logs? Well, let's go look at that. If I come over here, you can see here, some traffic is getting through, some traffic is not getting through. And if you want to inspect it, like this one here, if I click it, it'll say going down, my last one, the ultimate blocker. And it'll say that this is the URL here, and it caught it in this blocker. I don't know why this one caught it rather than the other, because in the firewall policies, it's catching it based on order. So lower number wins. It's the higher priority essentially. So the ultimate blocker I made is a catch-all at the very bottom. Now the difference between this first one, which is doing is very specific on SH, versus this one here, is I said anything with shorts, or YouTube shorts, or mobile shorts, shorts. I tried some regex. I just went brute force on this thing. I even saw there was some a tag called L and tried using that. And I had limited success on some of these. As you could see it shows block in the activity here. But I just was trying to show you that you can make other options here. So what if I go back over here? Yeah, ultimate blocker. That's another thing. You can actually change your policies. So I can say, let's just go to YouTube Shorts. All right, these were blocked. These are generally the ads. So this is the policy for SH that we have. And you can see here, it's this one right here, Google Video. And if you want, you can copy that string and you can go analyze it. And then you can see the really long string that's going to be in there. So let's just check it out. Let's paste that in. Paste and go. It's wants to download a file here. Interesting. Now, how did we find that string in the first place? Well, I'll show you. On my computer, I don't have it fully blocked yet. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Shorts. So let's pause this a second. Hit F12 so that you can go to your developer tools, and make sure you're in the network tab here. I always like to sort by size, the bigger file, because obviously that's going to be the combination of audio and video together. And then let's go ahead and download. And so it's downloading. 1.4 pauses. So it's going to be this file probably. Now on my machine, I'm not blocking I'm not blocking it, so that way you can kind of get an idea. And then if you click it, it'll show you the response. And if you look very carefully, let's see if we can find it. It's AI tag, sources YouTube, SSL certificate, serial number. There it is, right there. CTIR equals SH. So it took me some time, but I figured out that that's the deviation for shorts, CTIR. So let's go to a another combination here that doesn't have that. Let's just choose Swagahos. Okay, Swagahos, this is your future. So now let's go ahead and close this one. and refresh, start to download, sort it by size, and here we go. Pause it. Now, this one here. All right, new playback. All right, so this one, if you notice, says C tier equals A. So that's the differentiation that I figured out from what a short and a non-short is. So by having that inside your firewall policy here, when you're blocking it, that is the magic sauce. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm trying to keep it a little shorter and sweeter. There's an article if you need to see on the website that can go step by step. Cloudflare has excellent documentation here, as you can see, how to get started here, right here. Get started, get the account, log into your dashboard, choose a name, get your certificate, put your endpoint clients on, and it's all step by step if you need to as well. It's really good. So good luck, and to be continued.